Good afternoon to our next session. Perfect, everyone is here. Thanks for joining the session. I think we have 75 minutes of very interesting content for you. It's a slightly different session because we're showing you a lot of live demos in the next 75 minutes from different partners. So you probably have seen our engineering team worked still on the last apps that we want to finalize all the apps and get everything up and running that we want to show you in the next session. Let me probably introduce for a moment. Oops. Perfect. My name is Daniel Jonathan Wellig. I'm part of the product team, working with a lot of partners, and I'm responsible for the Skype developer platform and for some other areas like you have seen before our session on WebRTC or parts of WebRTC, and also how we interact with vertical and partner apps basically on the top of the Skype developer platform. And next to me there is Dan. Dan is part of the engineering team, works very closely with all those partners to get them all the information that they need on writing applications on our platform and on Skype for Business, and also pulling them into some of the programs that we have to get partners up and running. So if you have any technical questions, then it's after the session here, and we will have enough time to answer questions that you have. Okay, so let me probably start with something. Perfect. If you have seen our session before, we talked a lot on the new Skype developer platform. We talked the very first time at the Build conference. Okay. We talked the very first time about the Skype developer platform at the Build conference in San Francisco, where we showcased the new Skype web app, Skype web SDK, sorry, and we demonstrated a lot of custom development that is now on the top of Skype for Business, basically possible and available for developers. So if you haven't seen our session yesterday, we talked a lot on the application development that you can do on basically for web application or server applications on the top of Skype for Business and so on. And especially how you can upgrade Link 2013 to Skype for Business, and you can still run all the applications that you developed on different areas on SDKs and APIs on our platform. So as you know, Skype and Skype for Business, we have a lot of communication capabilities. We talked a lot on instant messaging and voice and meeting, basically also how we manage the platform, and how many customers and how many partners already work on the Skype developer platform to create great apps. We talked in the yesterday session also about how Skype for Business changes this game, right? Because we have more developer tools, and we're getting more integrated with Office 365 and with the developer community there. The very important thing to remember is when we talk about developer opportunities, and you will see later the apps that partners have, most of this custom development is based on-premise. But we are very concentrated and very engaged, basically, to move with all those options that you have on-premise more and more into the cloud, and also provide developers the opportunity to create applications not only on-premise, but later on also for Skype for Business Online in Office 365. So on the top of the Skype developer platform, we have the opportunity to run apps so as the client on different platforms, different devices. So you will see some partner apps that basically leverage some pieces of our developer platform for a different user interface, to extend capabilities, to extend features, to maybe create a web client, to create features and capabilities that we don't have out of the box in the platform, like recording, compliance, some very sophisticated things that we don't deliver out of the box. And this is actually what we want with the Skype developer platform. We want actually that you get into that, right? And you see the opportunities. And for your business scenarios, you can extend features, capabilities, and you can create your own custom features or custom communication scenarios on the top of our developer tools that we have now available with Skype for Business. So basically, as we're delivering these new SDKs and APIs on the top of the platform, first on-premise, as I said before, and then later on also for Office 365, Skype for Business Online, we're providing the opportunity for partners, for developers, any kind of basically size of organization to adopt our platform, to use Skype for Business, and to create custom experiences on the top. Some of the partners creating applications for, let's say, healthcare, for contact center, for finance, or financial scenarios. A lot of our partners basically created extensions to the client that bring in line of business applications like CRM and data from other applications to have a more rich experience on a client for the communication scenarios between partners and customers. We have seen yesterday a lot of demos from mobile client, how we leverage Skype and we connect to Skype for Business, how we leverage URIs and how we leverage Skype button on a website that enables you to connect to someone in a company that communicates with you maybe if you want to purchase a product. So all of the scenarios are basically possible on a Skype developer platform, and we will see in the next couple of demos how our partners use this powerful platform to create their custom scenarios. So the very important thing to mention, perfect, is that we already had a developer ecosystem on Link 2013. However, let me ask you a question. How many of you started some custom development on 2013 in past? Just raise your hand. Not the partners, of course. Oh, thank you very much. Just joking. So we already had a developer community around Link 2013. But however, it was very challenging, right? Because in Link 2013, you had to dive into the documentation and all the details on UCMA. You had to understand when I actually use MSPL, what is UCMA, when do I use the client extension. There was also a persistent chat SDK that a couple of partners used, and so on, right? And basically with Skype for Business, we are kind of relaunching this, and we're creating more tools, more opportunities on the developer in the developer ecosystem. Our vision is that every developer, every company, every IT pro can actually use this platform to enable communication in any kind of app, from web and mobile, from on-premise, and later on in our future, also on the cloud or in the cloud. So with Skype for Business, we launched a week ago a new website, developer.skype.com, that provides you insights of what can you do with Skype and what can you do with Skype for Business. What are the opportunities to customize communication scenarios on a consumer client versus the business client? And if you visit the website, you get redirected also to MSDN, where we refreshed all the content, and we show you how the Skype developer platform works, what kind of APIs and SDKs are available, what kind of direction we are going, and what we renewed and refreshed in the new version between Link 2013 and Skype for Business. Okay, that was my little part, basically. Let's start with a very interesting, or with the really interesting part of the presentation, and bring partners on stage that show you this kind of custom development on the top of our platform. So first of all, I welcome Evernet, one of our partners. And Joe, I'll let you introduce in a second.
Thanks, Dan. All right.
Perfect. Mic should be on. Yes.
Test.
Okay, we need mic number 2, please. Please. Okay.
Okay, so as Danny said, my name is Joe Skirman, and I'm a Senior Director of our Digital Offerings Group inside of Avanan. For those of you that aren't familiar with Avanan, we've been around for 15 years. We're the $2 billion company that nobody's ever heard of. So we were founded by Microsoft and Accenture in 2000 as a joint venture. And today we are predominantly owned by Accenture and offer digital offerings off the Microsoft platform. And basically we focus 100% on the Microsoft platform. We have over 22,000 employees, up to 25,000, and we have regional global delivery centers in 70 locations globally as well. And just so you know, all 25,000 users are being migrated to Skype for Business as we speak. We had a majority that were migrated last month, and the remaining users are being migrated as we speak. So one thing that really I take away from Danny's presentation is that in the past, and I've been working with this technology since 2002, I used to sell RTC. We talked about telephony and SIP trunks and devices and servers being able to communicate with one another and client applications. I no longer have to sell UC. And I'm stealing a quote from Gurdeep's keynote speech in that UC is dead. And that's really true. And the reason why is when I go talk to customers today, I don't even mention UC. We don't talk about the server, we don't talk about telephony, we don't talk about user adoption or deployment. What we talk about are business problems and business processes. And what the Skype developer platform has allowed us to do on a global scale with the size of company that we have and the customers that we talk to, we understand their digital business model. And able to basically enable a digital business, you have to first enable digital communications inside the organization and then also efficiently communicate to their digital customer. Just by a show of hands, who all has an iPhone today? How many of you are using Windows phones? Android. Okay, that's pretty much what the records show. The reason I ask the question is that customers are consuming technology on their own terms, right? So if you make a technology or an application easy for a user to consume, then loyalty with that customer is going to maintain. Now, as soon as the next bit of technology makes that a little bit easier, customer loyalty, as we see today, is very short. They're always going to the next feature. So in order to create this type of platform to enable solutions that customers can consume on their own terms and stay loyal to that organization, we have to enable that digital business to have an applications platform to get there. And that's what we're able to do through the Skype developer platform. So at Avanade, over the past 3 years, since I came on via acquisition, I established a team in our Argentinian delivery center out of La Plata and Buenos Aires. Juan Tidone is here from La Plata, came all the way from Argentina to see you guys. And basically, all we do is develop UC apps on the Skype for Business platform. We've developed over 10 applications so far for global customers, ranging from the previous APIs with Link, and just most recently over the past year with the Skype developer platform as well. So we develop applications that are cross-horizontal that really any organization can use, and these are typically contact center applications, chat applications, web-enabled video conversations as well, and basically solutions that really can enable any organization to be able to leverage the platform to connect users via web browser. And that's one of the greatest features of the Skype developer platform, is that I can take all of these modalities that I'm used to using in the Link server and Skype for Business server environment and bring those to a web browser. Additionally, as a web apps development team, we can deploy these on Azure. We no longer need a virtual machine. So now we have an Azure web app and an Azure backend database. It's easy for us to deploy, it's easy for us to maintain, and it's easy for a customer to consume. So that comes back to my original discussion. How do we deploy apps that are feature-rich, easy to consume, and easy to leverage? So leveraging this platform, we've been able to build these sorts of applications very easily and very readily in weeks and months versus months and years, where you're seeing in a typical app DevOps scenario. And like I mentioned before, we're able to take the stack with modalities such as instant messaging, audio and video, transferring, conferencing, integrating translation services using the translation API, and then being able to offer line of business process scenarios that you see in contact center or agent tiering, those types of engagements, so that you can build those rich applications strictly and enable them directly on a web app. And so these cross-horizontal applications really can touch all of our customers globally. So any organization within any industry can leverage these applications to really enable their communication with the digital customer, as you're seeing with our application up here, Digital Lobby. Now, if I want to show something specific to an industry vertical, and this is what Avanade and Accenture do very, very well. Accenture spends a great deal of time with their customers and understands their business model. And as the Microsoft delivery arm of Accenture, we have to follow that model. So we can't come into a customer conversation and push Skype for Business or push a specific technology. We have to understand their business process, and we have to make sure that we map to that business process to A, reduce human latency, and B, enable a feature-rich set that allows that customer to engage in a line of business process where communication software can make a difference. So I'm going to show you an application that we have just recently built specifically for energy and oil and gas, drilling and production, and the solution is called Remote Advisory. And this is the type of conversation that I have with a customer. It's not about pitching a specific technology, it's about pitching a line of business process. So in oil and gas and drilling and production, which is not a great place to be at the moment, but the barrels are up to $60 a barrel, so that's good news for the industry. We're having these conversations about what are you doing today in drilling and production. So in that situation, you basically have a field manager that manages an on-site team at a site location where they're going to be drilling the well. They buy the land, they get a seismic team that comes out, seismic data comes in, they share the data and make decisions, and if they're lucky and they invest properly, then they can drill oil in that location. And that requires a lot of different users that make part of that process happen. So there's a field manager that manages everything on site, but all the geologists, seismologists, and investors basically are anywhere located throughout the globe. So how do we connect all these users together, reduce that human latency, and enable a solution that really works for that organization? That's the goal of Remote Advisory. So I'm going to play the role of the field manager, managing the on-site drilling location team. Juan is going to be playing the production operator, and he's going to also play the role of the geologist. And then I've got a production field manager that is actually out at a location. We have Pedro, one of our team members, out in Buenos Aires, Argentina, who's going to come in and give us a remote look at what's going on in the field. So what you'll see in this application is we're able to connect users leveraging the Skype for Business platform and the Skype developer platform. And we're also able to integrate IoT devices, whether it's Google Glass, HoloLens, a mobile phone, a Surface device, any type of device that can provide a WebRTC stream into the conversation, connecting everyone together. So let me go ahead and get out a PowerPoint here, which I'm sure you guys all appreciate. So at first glance, this is a pretty open canvas, right? Pretty blank canvas. But you can see what we can do here very quickly. So I'm the field manager. I've received some data that I need to communicate and collaborate with my seismologist and geologist on, who is Juan. And I'm going to find Juan. This is all using the Skype for Business developer platform. And I can view his contact card and view his presence and simply send him an instant message. So again, we're using the IM modality, we're using presence, we're using contact card capability all directly in the browser. And this application is hosted in an Azure web app with an Azure backend database. No virtual machines needed whatsoever. Okay, so Juan and I have been chatting back and forth, and it looks like in order for us to make a decision on some seismic data that we received, we need to bring in the person that's on site at the location, who's Pedro. So I'm going to go ahead and save this conversation and go find Pedro. See if he's online. He is. If I can type. And I've asked him if we can have an AV conversation really quickly to discuss bringing his on-site location video to the conversation. So now, again, in the browser, I'm going to escalate from IM to audio-video. And so what this is going to do is start an audio-video conversation with Pedro, if he accepts, bearing in mind the wireless internet here. There we go. So now Pedro and I are in an audio-video conversation. Can you guys see this okay, or is it too small? Is that better?
Nice.
Okay, so now we're in an AV conversation, and I can tell Pedro, hey, I need you to go out and put your device on so I can see what's happening in the field location right now. Okay? So Pedro is now going to end his conversation with me and hopefully go out and get a IoT device. And again, this is a project that we're working with the HoloLens team and previously with the Google Glass team. So he can go ahead and stream that device. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end this conversation. And I'll go back to Juan, so I can use Save Conversations here. And I can see here that Pedro is hopefully coming online here. And actually, before Pedro comes online, I can show you the feeds that are happening directly in the map. So here I've got a Bing Maps solution that allows me to actually see which live WebRTC feeds are actually coming in from the site locations across the globe. I can see that Pedro is here. And he actually showed up down below here in the device list. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop Pedro directly into the screen and wait for his video stream to appear. And so now Juan and I are in this conversation, and again, bear in mind the wireless here, sorry guys. Juan and I are in a conversation, and we're seeing the live stream feed happening from the on-site location where Pedro is located. And while he's actually streaming, I wanted to make sure that you guys saw that this does work. And I'll invite you guys to the conference as well. Test, test. Okay. So basically, we can see live video streams happening while we're collaborating in the web browser, and then I can move, basically my conversation to whatever format I wish, go to full screen or change the screen as I see what works best for me, obviously, in this type of conversation. And now these users that are connected all over the globe can make informed decisions real time by combining IoT devices and the Skype developer platform in the single application. All right. So kind of as you saw in the video that was streaming as I was discussing, and in the application we just showed you with remote advisory, we're building a whole host of applications. They range from cross-horizontal to direct industry vertical applications. And then everything that we build at Avanade goes back to a Visual Studio library. So whenever we're creating a new solution of leveraging how we contact users, how we find presence, how we connect to an IoT device, whatever the scenario is, it goes back to the individual library that we're building, leveraging the Skype developer platform. And so we're working with a whole host of IoT device manufacturers today. We're working with best-of-breed software providers today, such as SAP. We're also working with Salesforce.com and other best-of-breed applications that our customers use to integrate this experience leveraging the Skype developer platform. And I have conversations with CEOs now and CFOs now, as well as chief marketing officers now, instead of just CIO conversations, because the conversation that I have with an organization is not about the technology I'm pushing. It's about integrating into a business process and solving a problem, right? So the Skype developer platform helps us do that. And how we engage is basically we bring customers in for a free iDay session. So we have an envisioning session at our headquarters office in Seattle or a headquarters office in London in the UK, or at one of our regional centers as well. And we help an organization understand what you can do with this platform. If the customer is interested in building out an app, we actually can build out an app in a week. So going back to that rich library that we've developed, we can very quickly build an application for a customer in a week, or an iFortnight, which is 2 weeks, and then enable a longer journey with that customer to experience the platform. So this has been our success with the Skype developer platform. I thank the Skype team for making this possible for us to deliver, and I really encourage you guys to understand what's possible in the platform today and be part of the launch team.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Someone has a question or wants to reach out to you. What is the best way? What is your email address?
My email address.
Your email address. What's the best way?
I have a Dutch name, so it's a little hard to explain. If you just go to avanade.com and you click on our blogs, I blog on our communications insights, so that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Otherwise, joe.skirman@avanade.com, which is something you probably can't write down. Any questions? I think we've got like a minute here. Any questions on what we showed here or anything whatsoever? No?
Okay.
Sweet.
You have time for questions later on, so don't worry about it, yeah? Okay. I think we have one question here.
Hold on a second. With the microphone.
Okay. Would you repeat the question, please?
I was just curious about the quality of video that you guys were able to push to the web app.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it's been an ongoing discussion with us. We work with several different technology vendors. We work with the WebRTC Forum. We also work with the Microsoft team. And there's a lot of limitations with respect to what's possible with video streaming today. Now, the Skype developer platform enables a plugin for us to stream video in the browser, and that's what we showed you with the audio-video conversation that we have with Pedro. And then we use a WebRTC service that we bring into that conversation as well, which is our own that we developed. And that's a separate stream that comes through. Now, we're also trying to work on connecting the dots between those two streaming services, as well as enabling a plugin-less solution, which is pretty much the project for everyone in the industry right now trying to solve. But as far as the simplicity of enabling the audio-video conversation, it's a simple, start audio-video conversation in your code, and it's a line of JavaScript that enables us to make it possible.
Thank you. In terms of the time, let's take the other question after the session, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so let's switch to the next partner, Steve from Actians. Hey, hello. They will show us a kind of different development on the top of the Skype developer platform, a different industry scenario, and with that, I switch to Steve in a second.
Testing. Come on.
Yes. Thank you. Microphone on?
Yep. Okay, my name's Steve White. I'm a product manager at Actians, and I'm here today to present our compliance platform. So Actians started off in the late 90s providing instant messaging support for the finance community. Since then, we've added support for more platforms. We've got instant messaging, we've got unified communication, we've got social communication, collaboration, and social platforms. And we put this into an end-to-end communication service, compliance and governance solution. And in this area, we're market leaders. In the finance community, 10 of the 10 top US banks use our platform, 8 of 10 top European banks, and 5 of 5 top Canadian banks. For social, over 60,000 professionals use our Socialite platform for reaching out to customers using platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. We've got global operations, 24/7 support, We've been working with Microsoft since 2003 in supporting live communication services. So our platform's mission critical to a lot of large global organizations. We've got companies now deployed with over 200,000 users using this for daily operations. Their traders are using Link, Skype for Business, for performing their business. In the social area, again, we've got people using the platform for doing trades, for reaching out to their customers. And for Link and Skype for Business specifically, we support the active server pool, such that if one part goes down, all the users and then can jump over the other pool. And then Vantage in our platform in the background will make sure we capture all the records. So again, we're really dominant in the financial services industry, but we also have lots of customers in energy, utilities, telecommunications, manufacturing, healthcare, and consumers. So again, the platform provides end-to-end governance and management for all communications. Again, for instant messaging, we've got public instant messaging, like AOL. We've got industry vertical instant messaging, like Bloomberg. We've got enterprise instant messaging and unified communication, such as Skype and Link Skype for Business and Link. For industry enterprise collaboration, we've got SharePoint and soon Yammer. We've got Exchange. And we've got a number of different social platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. Altogether, we support 70 different networks between our Vantage and Socialite platforms. So Vantage, what we provide is active compliance and capture. Active compliance does things like ethical walls, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. And then we can feed this into different archives. So a lot of enterprises use us to feed it into, say, EV or HP Autonomy, but we also have our own archive called Alcatraz, and I'll talk more about that. On the social side, we've got a platform called Socialite, which does the same thing for social. We provide active compliance. We can control what people publish, what material they send out through LinkedIn or Facebook. And then again, that information itself is also fed into the archives, whether it's EV or Alcatraz. Alcatraz itself, it's an archive based on new technology. It's based on big data, the same type of technology that's used in customers like Netflix and Facebook. So again, it's designed to scale. But the key thing that this does, it represents information in context. So if you have a social post, it represents the post and all the different replies over time. If you do an edit, if you do a delete, it captures that. And it manually reconstructs everything so you can view what it looked like at a particular point in time. And we'll demo that. Then we've also got a lot of applications built on top of this platform, including e-discovery, supervision, and analytics. We have a lot of third-party partners, too, to provide similar technologies, especially downstream in the EDR model. So a deep dive into Vantage, what it does. Again, for Skype, for Business, and Link, we can capture and provide active compliance for IM, persistent chat, data sharing, voice, and soon video. We capture email through Exchange, and for collaboration, as I mentioned, we capture SharePoint, and we've got Yammer coming out in the summer timeframe. So for ethical walls, what do I mean by for ethical walls? This is a way to stop certain people from not communicating with each other or restricting the communication. In the finance world, people who are investment bankers cannot talk to the traders. So we limit that, just not across Skype, but for all the different 70 networks in our platform. We also have ethical walls where you can describe or determine what modes of communication people can use. For example, in a hospital, you might have an operating room with video. And so we can say, hey, the doctor can access that. He can turn it on or off. But you might have somebody else in the hospital reaching out to their consumers or to their patients using Skype. In that case, that person cannot, for example, a nurse cannot go to an operating room, turn on video, and share that with the consumer. So again, we've got directional ethical walls, and we can control what modality people can use. We've got blocking for inappropriate content, DLP. So again, if somebody's putting out inappropriate content, like a social security number or a credit card number, we can block that. Besides blocking, we can also prompt the user, do you really want to do this? Yes or no? Or we can flag it for later review. We also put disclaimers in things. So for IM, for persistent chat, we'll put in a disclaimer. Again, that's critical because a lot of companies now have more instant messaging than email. So everybody requires usually disclaimers for email, but you have to realize that that same communication now is going over IM. Again, we've got policy settings. So again, you set these policies. It applies across the platform. We've got reporting and security. For example, with IM, we'll expect for malware and viruses. So in Alcatraz, as I mentioned before, it's based on big data. It's a database that can scale. So the more data you have, the more machines we have. We split that information into multiple machines. And when you do queries, it'll be an elastic query that will execute all across all your different machines and bring back that data. So Alcatraz has archiving. So again, a single repository. We've got retention policies. So if you have to keep some data for 7 years or 1 year, we've got that. We also have immutable storage, which is basically worm technology implemented in software. We've got e-discovery, again, search, case management, chain of custody. We've got legal hold and export. For compliance, we've got supervisory applications. We've got monitoring and alerts and network feature controls. And for analytics, we've got surveillance, trade reconstruction, adoption. So now I'm going to jump over and do the demo. It's 1, I think, VGA 1. Okay, first I'm going to just jump into our Vantage application, and I'll show you how we can set up the ethical walls. So again, we apply these ethical walls we call intergroup policies on groups. So I've got a group called traders, and now I've got 2 different policies on this group of traders. Okay, I had a power supply up here. Okay. So we've been moving around machines and...
Well, that's a live demo, yeah. That can happen.
So again, here I've got 2 policies. I've got a policy for traders to investment bankers, which if I looked at that, I would block those communications. And here's a policy for traders to customers. So if I open up this policy, here you'll see there's different groups. I can define the policy. I can define what networks they can use. In this case, I'm only going to require them or allow them to use Microsoft UC, which includes OCS, Lync, Skype for Business. Then I've got specifications, what I want to do. I want to capture the content. I want to audit the content and export it. Now down below, here's what I allow them to do. They can send IMs, ingoing and outgoing. Same thing with chat. We only allow outgoing file transfer, audio, and video. So what I mean by outgoing, the person in the bank, the trader, can add video or add audio, and then the audio will go both ways. So again, a lot of flexibility for doing this. Now we'll jump over to our Actiance Alcatraz product. So again, this is an archive. It's running in the cloud at the moment, but it can be deployed in a private cloud, public cloud, or on-prem. Here, when I log on, I'm logging on to our case management application. I've got 2 cases created. And now you see a particular case. Now I'm going to jump in and preserve some things. So now I'm going to be searching the archive, so I can go and search for, say, a stock called ADEP, or any files name beginning with projections. So again, it's a very powerful query language. You can do proximity searches, complex logic. I can put in dates. And down here, if I wanted to specify networks, I could do that. For example, if I just wanted to do LinkedIn, Microsoft, UC, SharePoint, Exchange, I could limit it. And down below, if I wanted to do communication channels for just IM or posts, I could do that. But let me go and search. So here it brings back the conversations. So you see this conversation here started off in LinkedIn. Somebody posted something. Now the person may get back with Skype, and then you may have a SharePoint discussion. And then maybe later on you have another IM session in LinkedIn. So again, you're covering all the different communication channels. Now if I wanted to drill down, and I'll show you what these conversations look like. Again, IMs are fairly simple, but I'll take something more complex. So here's a SharePoint post. So I open that up, and you see down below, we've got rich metadata. Here we're saying, oh, the APID stock is fairly flat, and somebody responded after that. So again, we captured all those 3 posts, and we put them in one document to view. Now what happens is whenever something changes, whenever something is edited or deleted, to us, that would be a different snapshot, because that's something that you've got to review separately, because the semantics may change. Here, this next snapshot, again with the SharePoint site, we've got 3 snapshots. And here, something's been changed. Again, we're just showing you the difference here. Then later on, the 3rd snapshot shows something that's been deleted. If we want to, we can go ahead and show the full context. To open this up more, I'll go to full screen mode, and you'll see the different capabilities there. Oh, sorry, enlarged the wrong screen. So again, here's the system. You know, people got back, and somebody replied, then somebody replied the 3rd time with something inappropriate, and we actually flagged that. And if we wanted to see any of the policies captured by Advantage, we could pull that up, and we can see, oh, there is a restricted phrase. The other thing that we do is we've got, when we search for people, we just don't search for their email address. We've got capabilities where in Alcatraz, we view something up over time. So let's go and search for a particular person here. So here is Dave Luisi. And now I can get in there and open it up, and then I could basically see I'm running out of time here. But what I could do is open that up and see all of his different aliases. So what happens for each user, we capture his different aliases. He may have a different name on Skype, a different name for Skype for Business, a different name for SharePoint, or I should say for LinkedIn. So when we search upon a person's name, we'll search across all those different networks. So again, if I pull up any employee here, what I would say, you know, I could pull that up, and then I would see his different aliases, but I'll skip over this. Also, we've got archive management, where we've got different policies here. If we wanted to see what the retention policies were, we could have different retention policies for 1 year, 7 years. So any of these policies, we could apply that policy to any group of users. So again, possibly in any network. So again, possibly you might have people doing financial trading they may have to have their stuff archived for 7 years, but people maybe doing mortgages might have to have theirs archived for 30 years. So how are we doing on time?
I have 1 minute and 50 seconds.
All right.
Yeah,
So any
what should we say?
questions?
Okay.
Okay.
We're
thanks
taking
for your time.
question afterwards. Thank you very much.
Good, thanks. Great.
Okay. Let's switch to the next partner that we have, Intermountain Healthcare. Thanks for coming up here.
Did you have a question in the
I
back?
think we have a couple of seconds for one question before we start. We need to switch machines. Okay.
No question?
Give it a second here.
Get him all hooked up there. Everybody smile.
Ready? Perfect. Okay.
I'll go.
So all these guys, they have awesome applications. And we actually handpicked them for their unique solutions that integrate with Skype for Business. So I hope you guys enjoy all the presentations they have. In this particular case, they'll present healthcare. We had the oil industry, and at the end, and of course we had Steve here, who was so complex, everybody was speechless, no questions. Awesome solution. And then we'll have a recording compliance solution with Gabor from Verba.
So Lonnie, would you tell us a little bit more about Intermountain Healthcare?
You bet I will. How's everybody doing?
Absolutely.
I'm going to keep my phone up here. We had a session earlier this morning, and my mom called. So if my mom calls, I'll answer it, okay? Because it's my mom or my wife, either one. So how's everybody doing? Yay. All right. There we go. So my name is Lonnie Buchanan. I'm the Director of Enterprise Architecture for Intermountain Healthcare. This is my good friend, Mr. TJ Harrison. He's the Senior Enterprise Architect on our telehealth program. And we're here to talk a little bit about Intermountain Healthcare and some of the stuff that we've got going on there. So, click. These clickers never click right. Okay. This is where I walk off the stage. The intensity. You're going to have to click for me. We're not clicking.
Seems like, yeah. Try it again.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, so Intermountain Healthcare is basically an organization. We're based out of Utah. There's about 38,000 employees. We have 22 hospitals, about 160 facilities. We have our own air wing, our own insurance. If that's my mom, tell her to hang on. Okay. Jokes just start working, are they? And we have a very narrow corridor in the state of Utah where most of the population lives. So that requires us to provide care as best we can across the entire state. And that gives us a situation where we're very unique. We have begun branching out into what's known as telemedicine or telehealth. And so we have a very strong effort in that area. And so in order to improve care and to extend past that, we needed a platform in order to run this on. And in the process of evaluating what we were going to do, we chose, at that time, Link 2013, which has now become Skype for Business. If you'll click there. I'm just going to give you one of the... Now, you recognize this good-looking man over here on the left-hand side? Okay. You'll see that thing that he's holding in his hands right there. We're very, very proud of. This year, this program was awarded Microsoft's Innovation in Healthcare Award based on the work that we did with this. Very, very exciting for us. Intermountain was not in the telepresence business until about 2013. In 2013, I was called into the CTO's office, and he told me, he said, I want you to do telehealth. Well, what does that mean? And he said, I need you to go make it happen. And I said, do we have any people? And he goes, no, we don't have any people. And I said, do we have any plans or any platforms? And he says, no, we don't have any of that. Just go make it happen. And he said, oh, and by the way, you'll probably have to write a codec. Well, that was kind of a shock. And so immediately we went out and began looking and trying to evaluate how we would go about doing this. From the time that we officially began our program, which was called TH2O on the 4th of July 2013, until implementation into the hospital systems. We began implementing in November. And so you take your time frame like that, you go July, August, September, October, November, about a 5-month period. It took us to bring up a development team, secure funding, even find a place in the organization for the teams to exist, put the architecture teams together, get product management, everything up and running. So a 5-month period. We were deploying in a hospital in our southern region, and we had a baby present with a situation which is life-threatening. Now, periodically a baby will present and they have fluid in their lungs. From the birth of that baby until that baby dies is 6 minutes. Okay? Now here's what you have to do. In a normal situation, you get on the phone, you call someone who's an expert in this area, because while it's common, there's very few people that can actually do this. So you get an expert on the phone. The expert will tell you, say, count the ribs down a certain number, find the belly button, find the elbow, move over here, and then they take this big, horrible needle with big hollow tube, and they jam it between the ribs and relieve the pressure of the fluid off the lungs. You got 6 minutes to do that in, or the baby's dead. Okay? They did it in 4 minutes and saved the first baby. That was baby Piper. Okay? We implemented that in 5 months, from nothing to saving a life. Okay? Last year I spoke at the Link conference and I made a statement. I said, I have the best job in the world. I save babies. Okay? It is. It's the best job in the world. I'm really making a difference in the world. And one of the reasons I get up here and I talk to a lot of people about things like this is because you can make differences in the world too. Okay? My job is not necessarily to sell you on Skype or anything like that. Microsoft's like, oh, you got something on Skype, you got something on Skype. My job is to have you make a difference in the world. Every single one of you guys. Okay? And if I can do it, you can do it too. You see this next picture right beside of that? Okay? I went back and said, I save babies. My team got together and they built this board. It's called Lonnie's Baby Board. And people come into our facilities and that's the thing they ask about. Where's Lonnie's Baby Board at? Okay? Every time a baby is saved using this program, they put one of those little onesies on there with little dates. Those all represent kids who lived because of this program. That's a big deal. Okay? That's a very big deal. And I'm very, very excited about that. Now, keep going. So, as we continue to roll this program out, 1 year later, so 1 year later comes up, we began implementing our stroke program. Now, stroke is very unique too, and around the fact that I have just a few hours to administer the proper medicine. Now, here's the trick with stroke. If I diagnose you correctly and give you the correct medicine, I can save your life. If I diagnose you incorrectly and give you the medicine, it's not going to have that good of a result. So I got to make absolutely sure that I am right, dead on, knowing that you have a stroke. So we implemented our stroke program. And we began implementing it once again, first week in November. In 5 days, we had a stroke victim present that was diagnosed and administered the medicine in the correct time period, and that person is alive today because of that program. 5 days. We went from 5 months to 5 days. Now, if I keep this track record, that means I'm going to roll something out in November of this year. I don't know what it is yet because it's moving that fast, okay? I'm not 100% sure what it is. But if you keep that track record, that means somebody's life is going to be changed in about 5 hours, okay? The world of telemedicine is up on us right now, okay? The whole healthcare industry is changing very dramatically. And it's changing very, very quickly. Okay? And we need to be prepared for that. And so by utilizing technologies that are available to us today, we're able to leverage those technologies to make a difference in people's lives. And that's really what we're here talking about. Now, are you about ready there? Yep. Okay. So one of the things that we did was we were able to, in working with the Skype for Business development team, we were able to put together this particular demonstration. This is a new prototyping code that we're utilizing for the Skype for Business Web SDK as we integrate and work with them. And I'm going to let my good friend Mr. TJ Harrison give us a little demo and show this to you. This was completely built relatively quickly, and it's pretty impressive. So you guys take a look at this. TJ?
So before I get into the demo, I just want to one of the questions we get asked in healthcare a lot is, why are you using Skype for Business? And I don't know, if any of you are in healthcare, you know that Skype for Business has struggled in healthcare and this kind of scene. Everybody uses it for IM and presence, and it's great at that, audio and video conferencing and things like that. We chose to use this platform to deliver our telehealth platform because, for one, the power of the Skype Developer API is we worked with internal teams on the Skype Web SDK to develop the demo I'm about to show you, because it is a system that I can use in multiple places in my organization, not only from the office worker, but several different types of telehealth scenarios. The Skype for Business has an extensive footprint in the industry for audio and video communications, which tells me that the system works as expected. It also can integrate with this Skype consumer client, which now expands our external presence globally. You know, Microsoft likes to say there's over 300 million users a month on the Skype platform. That kind of footprint allows us to deliver care to anyone on any platform. As the Skype client is getting on your Xboxes, your smart TVs, your mobile phones, your tablets. From a patient perspective, I can't ask for any other way to speak with a physician, right? It really is a universal platform for us to build upon. Let's go switch to number 8. Here you can see what our patient portal looks like. I have details here. I can see the kind of conditions that they can speak with a physician on. They simply click Connect Now, and we present them with a test page where they can test their audio and video before they get to a physician. I'm going to go ahead and select Connect Now. If you want to go to number 7. And on the back end side, you can see we're running the Skype for Business client, and I have kind of a rudimentary call system here just to kind of handle it, and I can go ahead and select the call that comes up. It's going to answer, and you can see the call starting in the Skype for Business client for the physician. We found this is really imperative because in the healthcare scene today, there's so many products in telemedicine, they're all individualized. So you have to train the physicians for those service lines to use that product. They're already using Skype for Business to talk with other physicians in the organization, so we find the adoption is much easier in this case. Let me start my camera, and I start my video up here. And you can see the patient's waving over here. Now if you want to flip back to 8, you can see the patient view from that. I mean, we make it look like the Skype client so that it's familiar to them, right? If they're already using the Skype client on their desktop, it's a really familiar experience. It's an easy transition. We don't have to do a lot of testing. You know, we can invite other physicians in. The best part about this is, let me go ahead and go back to 8. We're going to start a new call. I'm going to show you, this is something that we've been working on for quite some time. If you want to go to Miracast. There should be a button there that says Miracast. Right here, number 6 there. I'm going to show this on a cell phone, and hopefully this works. I just love those live demos.
This is total pressure now, everybody. Hold your breath.
Let's see, I just bring up the same patient portal so we have the same experience. We scale. Oh, hold on, let me connect. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we're not on the same wireless. Crap. Crap. Live demo. The curse of the live demo, right? Well, here's what I'll do is I'll just join it from the mobile phone. You won't see it. I'll show you the back end. If you want to switch over to 8. Mm-hmm. Let me start the call up again. Yeah, so on my mobile client, I'm being told that I've got to launch right into the link client. And you see, for those of you that are up close, you can see the link client. Log in as a guest, so I don't have to have a link account to use it. You want to go back to the 7, I guess maybe it's, there you go. So you can see it starting the meeting up. Yep, it's going, it's starting. It just takes a minute. Cell phones takes a minute to start the video. It's not liking the Wi-Fi network I'm on. I'm sorry about that. And I can easily invite another provider right into the presentation. Hold on, let me change my status here. I'm sorry, guys. Invite. And now we can bring 3 people into the same conversation. It's hard to see, but on my phone, well, it's not bringing the video. It didn't connect to the wireless network. I'm sorry on that one, guys.
Can happen.
Yeah. So the point is that we can build a patient experience that is very similar to what they have today. We can build a physician and clinician experience that's very similar to what they have today, so that we don't have to train them any more than they've already been trained. They just do the work that they normally do. They get to interface with the patient. It's seamless to them, and the patient's comfortable. You know, it's nice to be able to see the physician you're walking with. How many of you guys have ever gone into a clinic and had to sit there and wait for an hour before you see a physician, right? You check in, you pay your copay, you go sit down. Some physician's assistant calls you and says, hey, you know what? Come back in, we're ready to take you. They take your measurements, and then they stuff you in a clinic room, and you wait for another physician to come by. We're hoping that we can use this technology that we are presented with the Skype developer platform, that we can streamline that process to where you get a physician the second you call in. Maybe it's not your physician, maybe it is in a follow-up visit. But that's the power that we have with this platform. We're just a small healthcare company trying to provide a better experience for our patients. And this platform is so powerful that we can do that pretty easily. Do you have anything you want to say? Or?
No, I think that wraps up our time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And thanks for the live demo. Network can happen, right? So.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Perfect. Okay, let's give you a second here.
Sorry.
Okay.
That was really awesome, right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. It's very unique too.
Okay, let's continue with our next partner, Verba. So completely different space on how we use the Skype developer platform and SDKs and APIs for some additional business scenarios. And Gabriel will tell us more on how they leveraged our platform for your technologies. Okay,
So you can switch back to the presentation first.
yes.
Does it work? What one?
It's yours.
What is the... I don't have one.
Need to introduce you.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Gábor Mozart from Verba Technologies. We had so many great speakers today. I tried to do my best to show you some interesting stuff, what we do with the Skype for Business Development platform. We are providing and working on recording solutions since 2001. We have offices in the US, UK, and Hungary. And we are a Microsoft Gold partner. And this solution is integrated with Skype for Business via Skype developer platform. So we're actually leveraging a couple of APIs on the platform. One of the key APIs we are using is the server SDK, available on the front-end servers. We also use some UCMA and also the client SDK. So we are pretty much leveraging most of the APIs, but the heavy lifting is actually done on the server side. So when we actually do recording and stuff like that, that is all on the background, on the network or server side. So the users are usually not aware that we are actually doing something in the background. This slide pretty much summarizes what we do. We are soon releasing or extending our compliance solution with communication policies, where you can set up and control how you want to allow certain sessions. You might want to block them for certain reasons, or also this could be part of the an ethical solution, or you can set up information boundaries using this technology, and also content filtering or data loss prevention for IM conversations. The main focus is still recording, and that means that the solution is able to record IM, instant messaging, voice, video, and desktop screen capturing as well for contact centers. In addition to recording these conversations or sessions, we also integrate with some of the other solutions around the Skype for Business ecosystem. For instance, contact centers like contact center from Louver, where you can enrich the data, meta information available for the recorded conversations. So let's say agent IDs, skill group information, etc. We also integrate with other external business applications, which you can utilize to, attach additional information to the recordings, and you can use that information later on when you want to search back those recordings. And also, it can be vice versa. Let's say I want to get access to recordings in a certain business application, and you can do that. We have very extensive APIs available, and you can easily integrate with the platform. Obviously, once you have the recordings in the system, you want to play them back. And we have a web-based user interface. I will show that later on in the demo, which you can use to search back recordings. When we have an IM recording, then you can obviously use the content of the IM conversation during search. But also, if you have a voice or video recording, then we have the speech search available. So you can use word spotting. You can search for certain keywords in the voice or video conversation as well. In addition to that, we are also offering some tools or features specific to a certain industry, which really helps these customers to quickly and very efficiently find the conversations and work with the conversations. So let's say in a compliance use case, the e-discovery team or the legal team wants to search back certain recordings, then obviously they want to do that in a very efficient and quick manner. They want to quickly find all the related calls to a certain case, and also they also want to, additional features like legal hold or e-discovery, etc. The system should be also provide role-based access control. So once we have the recordings in the system, those needs to be protected. You cannot alter them. And also the access should be very granularly controlled. Who can access what, how, everything needs to be audited and logged. But once we have these, we also want to define what to do with the recordings, how long I would like to keep them in the system. What if I want to put them into a special storage devices, warm storage devices, or I would like to export them, like for e-discovery, or even if you want, even if you already have a compliance archive, let's say for Exchange, or already have something for IM, then we can also integrate with that and extend that with voice and video recordings. Some of the key and unique features related to our solution. One and very important differentiator is the recording technology, and that is primarily for the voice and video part, which is really the hardest. And we have this unique capability to get access to the media streams by actually rerouting the calls through our own proxy server, and in that way we can capture the conversations. And this is done in a way that it's totally seamless for the users, so the user experience is not changed at all, and it is available for any types of calls, any types of devices. So as long as a Skype for Business endpoint is participating in the call, we can do this and use this technology to capture the conversations. As I mentioned already, this is not just voice. So we're really focusing on supporting all the different modalities available in the Skype for Business platform. IM, voice, and video, and it's all captured in a single unified platform, and we provide all the search and playback facilities in a unified way for all these modalities. The solution we have is highly scalable, so you can scale it up to tens of thousands of recorded users by actually deploying more and more servers. We are utilizing very special performance libraries. All our applications are multi-threaded C++ applications. And by the way, this is entirely a software-based solution running on Windows servers, and it's nicely integrated into a Windows environment. We integrate with the Active Directory, so all the users and groups are actually pulled from the AD, and also be offering some additional like SCOM for management and alerting. Another interesting feature related to a solution is the notifications. So you're probably aware that in certain countries or even in certain states in the United States, you have this obligation that you need to notify the participants in the conversation which is being recorded, that this call or this IM conversation is being recorded. And we have a very unique solution for that, nicely integrated with the Skype for Business platform and as well as with the Verba solution, so you don't need to care about that. Another interesting feature required by some of our large customers, that if something goes wrong or for some any reason we cannot record a conversation, then we need to block that, because the risk associated with not recording a certain conversation is a lot higher than actually letting it go. So we have that as well. You can turn it on. You can configure the system in a way that we are going to block every conversation if we cannot record that for the configured users, obviously. And the last one I really want to mention is what we call CDR reconciliation. That is a very interesting feature, similarly to call blocking, because large financial service companies would like to find out if a certain call was not recorded. And we can compare the CDR information from the Skype for Business CDR databases with our own CDR information as well as media files, and we can create a report which basically lets you find out if a certain call was not recorded. So let me go ahead and show you some of the interesting features of the web interface. So right now I'm using an offline demo system, and I will go ahead and do some search first. So you see that we have this search page where on the left side you can go ahead and set up the search. So I can use phone numbers, CPU URIs. I can also search based on users. Again, this is all synchronized with the Active Directory, so you do not need to set that up separately. Everything can be pulled out from the AD. And one of the other nice features here, that I can also have what we call labels on these conversations. So let's say I'm a part of a legal team and doing e-discovery, and I have a legal hot case already configured in the system, which means that there is a legal issue with some of the conversations, and I want to protect them so nobody can alter that, nobody can delete those. So let me go ahead and find those conversations. You see that I can have all these conversations listed. I can go ahead, play them back. Everything is controlled by the role-based access control. I have certain permissions which would allow the users to get access to these recordings and do some actions with that. But let me also show you some speech search, and where I can go ahead and I will look for a very specific keyword, Microsoft, in some of our recordings. So let me go ahead.
So those are our calls, huh?
Yeah. So actually these are earning calls, what we indexed, but let me show that to you. So we have this integrated player. Hope I can you switch on the audio for
audio input? The audio input.
Question, please press *1 on your telephone.
So let me jump to one of the keywords we found.
Looking ahead, there is a lot to be excited about as we continue our transformation around One Microsoft.
So you see that.
I'll turn it back.
Thanks. So you see that I was able to detect these keywords I was looking for, and I can jump to that specific segment of the recording, and it's really powerful when I want to search back certain recordings based on the content of the conversation. So let me also show you what we have for video calls, where I can show how the actual playback experience looks like when I have a video call recording. First, I would like to show you an actual video call. This is a peer-to-peer video call between two Skype for Business endpoints, or link endpoints. And you see that I have the video. I can put this on full screen. You see that the two parties are mixed into a single screen, and I can play that back. I can also play back what we have here is an actual desktop screen capturing recording.
Welcome to the conference service,
where I have the audio
You are the first participant.
and the desktop screen captured as well in a single video file.
Please hold the
So
line.
what you see here is a dual monitor setup being captured along with the voice conversation, and that's what you can hear and play back. And finally, I would like to show you some of the new stuff we are working on around communication policies. So let me show you that here what you see is the communication policies I have in the system. You see that we can control the different modalities for these communication policies, so I can actually allow or disable certain modalities for these conversations. So let's say I want to disable video for a certain group in the organization during peak hours because I want to let's say, the C-level people use the network instead of everyone. And you can go ahead and also configure that. And I can also, I will also wanted to show you the content filtering capabilities, where you can go ahead and check for credit card numbers or F words you want to protect or block in certain conversations. So,
perfect. Thank you very much for the demo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If there is any question around the solution, and we would be happy to answer those. Yes, Peter? Sorry? Well, yeah.
What booth, exactly?
Yes. So we are exhibiting here, and if you want to know more about this solution or you're interested, want to get more information, it is 408, right? 408.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks to all of the partners. Thanks to the partner engineering team for Microsoft to help actually to make it possible. And yeah,
Question?
before we, please go ahead.
what solution you have for multiple languages? Like they are going to introduce
The speech search, right?
Yeah, in search.
Yeah, so we right now have UK English, US English, German, Arab, and Hungarian. But we are extending this with other.
Skype is already like going to introduce Mandarin, Spanish.
Yes, but that is a different. Unfortunately, it's a different technology. So what we do is keyword spotting, and the solution what you have in Skype or Skype for Business is a different one. It's not. Those are two different technologies, but we are looking at to extend the support for other languages as well.
Okay. Okay. Before we go to more questions, we are very looking forward to get hopefully great feedback from you guys. So this is the link to the evaluation. We have all partners in front, so if you have questions, just please go to the microphone or come here in front, and we are happy actually to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.